If your battery cables on your first gen look like this, you got to go over to CE Auto Electric and get yourself a set of new battery cable. They have them in a kit. And stay tuned, because we're going to go through that kit and how to install them and get rid of that garbage. Out here, again, working on Zach's truck, getting that wrapped up. If you haven't seen any of the previous videos, I encourage you to go check it out. Pretty cool setup we got going on there, but it needs some new battery cables. It gave me a hard time last year starting when I was dropping off at the tranny guy, and they did their time. So CE Auto Electric here, I've used their battery cable kits before for a couple other trucks. My opinion, probably the nicest kit, attention to detail, fit and finish, cable, quality, stuff like that you can get. So this kit, they have 3 different options. We got, I think it was option 3, which was kind of like a fresh start, brand new everything. Option 1 is that you cut off your old ends off the cables, the main power lead coming off your battery cable here, and then your starter lead. The original connectors are obsolete, you can't get them, so your options are reuse them, send them out to the cables to CE and they'll swap everything over for you. Or option what we did was just get new style ends and stuff, and we'll just adapt the new style onto the truck. Opted for that because we don't want to deal with any of the old garbage, and this way it's all new going forward. And next year when we go through the whole electrical system, it'll just be something that's already updated that we won't have to touch. So these kits are really nice. Like I said, this is like the highest quality battery cable. You usually can't tie a knot with battery cable, but it comes with zip ties that I just got dropped on the ground. Everything here from your starter lead, the plugs, the extra ground that goes to the radiator support. These are your new pins and connectors for those, new hardware, grounding washers, the little insulators, and even the boot for the starter. And at least at the time when this kit was purchased, the kit qualified for a t-shirt, so we got a t-shirt as well. So like I said, really nice kit. It's kind of straightforward. We already got the old cables off, so we're just gonna get right into getting this put on. So as I mentioned, we got the old battery cables taken off. You obviously got your 2 terminals up top. One grounds down to the block. The other ground you should have on your radiator support there. The positive goes from your battery down to the starter. It usually gets P-clipped to the motor mount. And then over here, your mileage may vary depending on your truck, but it's usually a mess of wires. So these are the 2 old connectors that I mentioned that are obsolete. These are going to be getting cut off depending what you have on the truck for options and stuff like that, and what everyone else has gotten themselves into. You may have more or less wires. So these wires here, there's 2 of them, kind of heavy gauge with fusible links at the end of them. These are for your grid heater. We're getting rid of the grid heater setup because race truck. So I'm just going to be cutting those wires out. We don't have to worry about that. And then just whatever extra power we had hooked up for auxiliary relays for like the lift pump and tranny cooler and stuff like that will get hooked up as well. But there should be enough room on the new terminals to be able to add stuff nice and easily. So first thing, we're going to get the cables kind of ran in position, and then we're going to deal with getting this stuff here swapped over. The ground cable is all installed. I put a long bolt with a P-clamp through one of the holes that was in the frame right there to help secure this. This will connect there. I ground off some of the paint for that ground stud because that was painted over, so that's not a good connection, but it is now. So we'll just give that a coat of paint or clear coat after we're all done to make sure we don't have any rust. Cable runs down, connects to the bottom side of the block. I got the battery positive hooked up here for now. Gonna play around with if it's gonna go this way around the intercooler pipe or that way. We'll see what we have for length. So I'm gonna get it down connected on the starter end, and then that'll determine what it's like up top. Positive cable is on. I got the P-clip down there on the motor mount. The boot is on the starter end, which you can just see right there. A little bit different setup because this is running a 2nd gen starter because it is 47 swapped, but more or less all the same. I utilized this old clamp from last year that I had that had a hole in it, so I got that P-clamp. So this positive battery cable is all good. This negative will be all good too with just a zip tie. That lines up good. Has some extra space here for the extra stuff. So the next thing we're gonna do is just cut off this old end and this old end and connect the new ones together for the starter and the power there. With the old ends cut off, you can put on your piece of heat shrink tubing, which is important, and then your terminal end here. And then you're gonna need a set of crimpers, which I have this style just kicking around. At some point I wanna upgrade to the hydraulic kind as I do more cables, because I'm starting to do a lot more now. But these work pretty good. You'll find your right die size that fits, and you'll crimp that down good, slide your heat shrink over, heat shrink it, and then slide the connector over. With it all crimped, heat shrink on, get yourself a nice heat gun. Like I got this nice DeWalt one, and you're gonna shrink that boot down until it starts to ooze out the adhesive. With this connector here, you'll see there's a little metal tab there, and in this orientation, the connector's gonna slide in through the top, which you can just hardly see through there. But what you wanna line up is when you look at this terminal end, if I get it bent over here, one side right here has a lip. That lip is what's gonna catch that metal tab. And you can see that as a reference on the one that they already installed for you. So you can see the wedge, the lip, and then the metal tab right there. So you'll slide that in until it makes a nice click noise, and you'll be good. It's definitely a pretty snug fit going in there, but once it's connected, it's in there nice and tight, got that connected, and that's a nice strong connection there. Got to kind of finagle this harness a little bit to not get so much strain on there, but we'll take care of that after. The next thing is going to be to do the mating end on these wires for this end here. The next thing is going to be these two wires. So they are two different gauge wires. So that's something that you do have to be cautious of. The little insulation boots that they give you are two different colors, two different sizes. My tip is put these on before you strip the wire. That way the the strands of the wire don't try to fold back on themselves. So there's also two different sizes of your crimp pins here as well. So you can get away with not having special tools to do these. It's just not ideal to pinch over the pins. But these style crimpers have become more and more readily available. You can get them through Amazon. Temu has really cheap ones too. I got these ferrules. The ends that are in here are for open barrel splices, but they work the same way for these. So the only thing to keep in mind with these is there's actually two crimps. There's a crimp here, which is separated in 3 sections, and that's what's going to crimp the wire. And then the bigger crimp actually crimps over your seal, and that's what helps hold your seal in place when you bring it and put it into the connector. So just like that, the pins are crimped. You may notice I did not go all the way down with the insulation one just because those aren't the right ones, but it's enough to at least crimp everything in place. Now you'll just grab the other end of that connector and just make sure that you match up your wires. So it's gonna go on that way, so we're gonna want the pink one over here. And on these, you can tell which way the pin goes in. They'll only go in one way. If you try to put it in upside down, it doesn't go. Put it right side up. Push it in until you hear it click. And the other side, so just for clarity, the open U-shaped side goes towards the clip end. Clip that in, and then you just have this locking piece here, which clips over the two wires. Clips in place. Connects right there, just like that, and that's set. It's gonna wrap it up for this. Got the cables all installed, everything's kind of tidied up. I think next winter we plan on going through the truck electrically wise once all this fun stuff is done. So this will all get redone once again. Not necessarily the CE Auto stuff, but the truck side of stuff, just to clean it up a little bit more. It's better than it was, but certainly not to the standard of stuff I like to have it at, but we are trying to get this truck done for a dyno event coming in at the end of the week. So that's gonna wrap it up for this. Thanks for watching. Let me know down in the comments if you like this kit,